Hello guys, Sir Grandelot here. Let's talk a little bit about Shenhe, with no gameplay whatsoever. We will just stay here on the Genshin Optimizer. I hope you know what the Optimizer is, because this is not going to be a guide about the Optimizer. I will put a link in the description, you can see what it is. The too long didn't know is, it's a place where you upload all your artifacts, your weapons, your characters, and you can optimize the damage output of your characters based on what you want. But doing a full guide would take too long, and there are already many available, so this is not the purpose of this video. Shenhe's kit is not very straightforward, because while her quills, the value of her quills depend exclusively on your weapon and the artifacts that you give her, and her level, of course, the amount of end damage that your character will get from the quills is actually impacted by the crit rate, crit damage and other things of your receiving character. Many people play Shenhe with Ayaka, but the impact of Shenhe's quills on an Ayaka with Mistplitter is different from how much damage you will get for an Ayaka with the 4-star craftable sword from Inazuma. It's also worth mentioning that artifacts matter a lot, because if you want to pull Shenhe for a Ayaka and your Ayaka has an insane set, your Shenhe is going to provide a lot of damage. If your Ayaka's artifacts are garbage and you have a 0-star weapon, it will feel like Shenhe is not doing much and you may feel bad about it, when in reality it's not her fault. Now let's talk about the quills here using my Ayaka, actually the artifact that I use on my Ayaka all the time, in the team that I use for Ayaka all the time. Now, right now, Kazuha and Mona have everything active. I do not have anything active on Shenhe. And the burst, the average burst of my Ayaka will be 38k per hit. If I go to here and I activate everything, because ideally it's what you want to do with the Shenhe, you use her burst, you use her elemental skill press, but you can do hold if you have an extra charge during the rotation. The damage spikes to 79k, which is quite a nice bump. This is a 41k bonus of the end average damage for Ayaka's burst when she uses Mistplitter and when Shenhe has her Calamity Queller. Now, let's try to do the same thing with the craftable sword of Inazuma. We remove everything from Shenhe. Basically, she's just in the party to provide Cryo Resonance, just to avoid messing up the value provided by the average damage. We go here, we tell the game, we don't want a Mistplitter, Mistplitter is bad, let's use this thing. I'm very bad with names. Now, the base damage, of course, drops down quite a bit. We are under 30k, let's say 30k, let's round it. We now activate everything on Shenhe, absolutely everything. We go here, the average damage is 62. So, what happens is the bump for the Amenoma is of 32k, whereas for Mistplitter it was 41k, using same artifacts, same team composition, everything else is being the same. And it's quite a big difference in the overall damage output provided exclusively by Shenhe. After seeing the value of Shenhe for an Ayaka that has Mistplitter compared to an Ayaka with the craftable weapon, let's see how valuable her own weapon is, because a lot of people will have a Skyward Spine unused by anyone, or maybe a Favonius Lance, or, you know, many other options, but ideally a Skyward Spine would be very good, because Shenhe just cares about high base attack and some energy recharge to be played efficiently. Let's go now back to Ayaka. Let's see what's the situation when Shenhe is using the Skyward Spine. Compared to her signature weapon, with the 4-star craftable, the damage dropped from 62 to 58, which is a very small decrease, meaning that if you already have a Skyward Spine, do not touch Calamity Queller, unless you also want Mistplitter, in that case you can think about it, but it's not very valuable. Let's now see what happens if Ayaka has her own Mistplitter. Purple sword, here, let's go to check. Now we are at 73k, almost 74. So the difference between a Calamity Queller at full stacks compared to a Skyward Spine, which is considered one of the worst 5-star weapons in the game, is less than 6k average damage on the burst out of over 70k. So, in general, I would say Calamity Queller is an easy skip unless you really want Mistplitter as well. Because, of course, if you would be happy with either weapon, then go for it. In general, though, if you really have a Skyward Spine or some other weapon, don't be bothered by the weapon banner. Especially if you do not really care about Mistplitter, because maybe you already have one and you don't want to get refinements. Let's see with the 4-star weapons that many people may consider using, something like a Favonius Lance. Well, I need to go to the to Ayaka's optimizer window. Here we are at 71k compared to 79k of the Calamity Queller, and just a bit above this for the Skyward Spine. So again, as you see, the overall damage in terms of total team effort is not going to be impacted a lot by her own weapon. So whether you want to pull or skip Shenhe, pull or skip Calamity Queller, try to have a look here in the optimizer, because you may find out that your characters may benefit a lot from Shenhe or not, and that your Shenhe may benefit a lot from Calamity Queller or not. Ideally, Shenhe is very happy when she has around 180 energy recharge. Because an average rotation where you use Ayaka's elemental skill, Shenhe burst, Shenhe elemental skill, Kazuha burst, elemental skill, then you have a hydro character that does something. Then you go back to Ayaka, you use her burst, then you go to Shenhe to refresh the quills. With this rotation, usually with 100 energy recharge, she has her burst back. This team that I always use for Ayaka, all the bursts are up on cooldown. Mona is there. Don't worry about the artifacts of Mona, they don't matter. Mona can self-sustain thanks to Prototype Ember. Have Constellation 1 on Kazuha, so he produces a bit more energy for himself. And Shenhe with 180 energy is absolutely fine. The link to the optimizer will be in the video description. If you have never used it, try it, because it's a very valuable tool. And especially for Shenhe, it's going to give you a very good idea of how much valuable or not valuable she will be for your teams. My Shenhe is triple crowned because she's absolutely glorious. Bye guys, take care.